Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Let's Max Warframe. Today we're going to be taking a look at another fantastic shotgun, one that I really enjoy playing with, the Boar Prime. The Boar Prime was released back in Update 10 as an upgrade to the now retired standard Boar, boasting 117 damage per shot, with the majority, 76, coming in the form of impact, 17.5 as puncture and 23.4 as slash, making it one of the lowest damaging out of all the shotguns. So what makes it so special when compared to the others? Well, it comes with a critical chance of 15% with a damage multiplier of 200%, which isn't bad, nor is it particularly special. Boar Prime also comes with a pretty decent magazine size of 15 rounds, and a 2.3 second reload time, which isn't bad either. However, the Boar Prime really excels when you take a look at its status chance, which clocks in at an amazing 40%, placing it firmly at the top of the tree in terms of status chance. Now the reason that is so good, because with not much effort at all, you can easily achieve 100% status chance on the weapon, which is something that is absolutely awesome. 100% status really removes that will it won't it RNG that surrounds status, and allows the weapon to proc literally every single time, whether it be viral to remove health, magnetics down shields, or corrosive to remove armour. The Boar Prime can do it all. Now obviously you can't have a weapon that doesn't come without any downsides and remain balanced, and the Boar Prime is no stranger to that rule. The first thing that stands out is a feature to shotguns that is not limited to the Boar Prime but affects it all the same, which is damage drop off. Over distance, the damage per pellet is going to drop off in damage, really limiting the range of the shotgun. However, this really isn't that much of a problem when you take into account the fairly wide spread of the pellets from the Boar Prime and the fairly strong recoil. It makes it a bit of a short range weapon anyway. The spread is by far not the highest of all the shotguns, however it is something that really does need to be taken note of, making the Boar Prime amazing for single targets up close and groups of enemies at a slightly increased range. The recoil is also fairly strong but easily controllable, so while this is a downside and does limit the range of the weapon slightly, it's not something that's going to ruin the weapon. Ammo consumption on this is also a bit on the high side, and it is something that does need to be modded for. Easily dealt with, but again something to take into account. The weapon itself requires 3 parts in the blueprint to be able to build, which can be farmed in the locations on the left of your screen now. Due to the fact that it's only 3 parts, it does mean that there is a fairly hefty 10 Orokin cells needed to be able to build this as well. So the Boar Prime isn't the cheapest prime weapon to be able to obtain. Okay, so let's move on to starting to mod the Boar Prime. Now, it doesn't come with any polarities as standard, however, we're going to add 3 Vs and a dash through former. Now, for the majority of our builds, we've only got really 3 mods that are going to remain the same, which are Prime Point Blank, Hell's Chamber, and Shotgun Ammo Mutation. Now, for our Grenadier build, we're going to go with Radiation and Viral, so we're going to use Blaze, which is going to increase our white damage, as well as increasing the heat damage to combine with Charged Shell and Scattering Inferno to bring up the radiation damage on the weapon. We're also going to go with Toxic Barrage and Frigid Blast, which is going to bring up the viral damage that we need to deal with the cloned flesh. Now against the Corpus, we're going to go with Frigid Blast, Charged Shell and Shell Shock, which is going to bring up magnetic damage. And because of the extra damage brought in using Blaze, we are going to use Blaze and Scattering Inferno. Now this will have a slight reduction on damage because of the shields of things like the Corpus Tex. However, it doesn't have any negative effects against the fleshy units or even the majority of the shielded Corpus units. So while it doesn't have any positive damage increase on the Corpus, it doesn't really have any negatives either, so this is probably going to be the best. And for the Void, we're going to go with Corrosive and Heat, so Toxic Barrage, Contagious Spread, Shell Shock, and then Scattering Inferno and Blaze once more. Now obviously you can go with a Viral and Heat Field if you want to go for the Corrosive Projection Void build, but if you're not doing that, then the Corrosive procs are going to be amazing using this build for the Void. So now on to my recommendation as to whether this weapon is worth the time, effort and resources invested into it. And the answer to that is absolutely yes it is. The damage output from the Boar Prime is a lot more ferocious than people give it credit for. The constant stream of status procs from Slash to Puncture to Impact to whatever elemental combos you've got on there, you have it all. This on its own increases damage output. Puncture reduces an enemy's damage output. Slash causes them to bleed, and Impact causes them to stagger. And the amazing thing is that you get pretty much at least one of these procs on every single target. So not only does the Boar Prime do decent damage, it also works as an amazing crowd control weapon as well. The thing about the elemental status effects is that on enemies that are scaling and require removal of armor that they're gaining, the corrosive debuff is seriously useful. So the Boar Prime really comes into its own there, shelling out those armor reduction corrosive procs on enemies that it might not be able to necessarily kill itself. It just means that it's got a higher role in high level missions if you don't want to use other armor reducing weapons or the corrosive projection aura. But the amazing ability of the Boar Prime isn't all that it's got to offer. The main reason that I think it's worth it is that it is a huge amount of fun to use. Shotguns as a whole are often overlooked as a weapon choice, and although there are some monumentally bad shotguns out there, the Boar Prime really does deserve a look in for choice to run with occasionally or in your normal loadout. Often when I'm running void missions with the nullifiers, I use shotguns as an anti-nullifier weapon, vaulting into the bubble and unloading into them, and the Boar Prime excels in this. So in essence, the king of status, Status Prime, whatever nickname you want to give to it, the Boar Prime is a weapon that on paper looks like mastery fodder, but when you dig a bit deeper and look closer, there is a gem hidden away waiting for a chance to show you how good it can be. Now just quick little PSA from me, it has been announced that next Tuesday the 17th is the final day to be able to pick up the Prime Access Pack for Nova Prime, which does mean that it is likely that the next Prime is released next week, along with Update 16. So in honour of that, let's do another 75 plaque giveaway to help you that when the next update comes that we're waiting for, you can get your boosters running. All you need to do to enter is to comment on this video with what you are most looking forward to in Update 16, or even what you would actually change most about the game right now. Both answers are of huge interest to me, and I will look forward to reading the comments. What this also means is that with Update 16 likely to be next week, the days from now until Update 16's release, I will be farming void keys and Former like a crazy man. So if you fancy running some stuff with me and you see me online, chuck me a message in game or add me as a friend and we'll definitely run some stuff, whether it be for keys or for Former. Now, from the sounds of it, Update 16 is going to be huge with new content. From the raid to a bunch of new weapons, I will be trying to get reviews out as soon as I physically can. So please bear with me for the few days after it does release. You'll get the content as soon as I can make it. And as always guys, closing in on 1900 subs now, which I'm absolutely amazed at. So thank you all for the amazing support. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next episode.